Hi guys, and I'm back. This is Lashette with Scarlet Moon Creations, and I'm back for the fifth video for the YouTube Pagans Challenge, YouTube Pagans ABC, and I'm doing letter E, and that I decided would be about essential oils. I did years ago with a pagan blog project a little note about aromatherapy, and I decided not to do a video about that. But essential oils are kind of like the backbone or the foundation of aromatherapy, and I wanted to give like basically a background on what essential oils are because I use them a lot in my shop, in the products that I offer, and just in my daily life. But also how they can be used ritually or magically. So let us get started. So what are essential oils? Essential oils are basically plant extracts. They're the essence of a plant extracted in some form or another, and I'll get into extractions in a bit. Extracted from the plant and used basically with the four elements. Now, for those not wanting or even thinking about using essential oils magically or in witchcraft, you might not think about the four elements. It's just over the course of the years of my research, they kind of fall into those four categories. So like spraying or diffusing them in the air, blending them with water, burning them, or mixing them with other earth products, other oils, or other butters, and you get my drift, right? So aromatherapy is the use of essential oils in those various different ways for the betterment of us as people. So me, you, whoever uses it. The National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy, NAHA, N-A-H-A, says aromatherapy can be defined as the art and science of utilizing extracted aromatic essences from plants to balance, harmonize, and promote the health of the body, mind, and spirit. And I think many pagans have come to the realization that you can use aromatherapy and specifically essential oils in your rituals and incense and oils, as well as spell work and just everyday life, making it kind of a almost practical magic thing. And it gives you an alternative to some of the stuff we use. Like for me, I have a very sensitive nose and sinuses, so incense smoke is an issue. Speaking of, sorry, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I have very sensitive sinuses, and so they don't really like smoke at all. It doesn't matter what's burning. For the most part, they don't like the smoke. But oil warmers, which I have, I think you can't see it, but I keep them everywhere, and I could just put a few drops of essential oils and on a cup of water, let it boil, and enjoy the scent without the smoke. So personally, in my own at-home practice, I don't use incense. If I do something outdoors, it's much better because there's way more space. But yeah, that's just an example of an alternative use as a pagan. Um, it also, aromatherapy provides medical and health um, benefits, therapeutic benefits, as well as the magical benefits. So why not, kill two birds with one stone by using essential oils in your practice? They give you a connection with the earth and with the element of air, if you so choose, since they're mostly about aroma. Um, but essential oils do have, they're not psychosomatic like I think many people think, where they have that effect on the spirit on the mind or the body. They do make or create physical change within you, and that is, backed up by the scientific community and various aromatherapy boards. In France, there are tons of general practice doctors who have the licenses to offer their clients aromatherapy solutions. So this is not just, in our minds. This is not woo-woo stuff and, something we can't see, feel, and touch. This is something you can see the physical results of. So, moving on to the next section. So, specifically, what are essential oils? So, The Art of Aromatherapy by Robert Tisserand, who is like the godfather of aromatherapy in the world right now. Even though this is an older version, there's probably an updated one. The information in here is still good. Essential oils are odorous and volatile essences, and quite different from fatty oils in consistency, more like water than oil. Their chemistry is complex. Most essences are clear, although a few are colored. They're soluble alcohol, ether, and fixed oils, but insoluble in water. The oils are present in tiny drops in a large number of plants, especially those most commonly used for culinary and medicinal purposes. They can occur in the roots, leaves, flowers, barks, resins, and the rinds of some fruits. The presence of essential oils in oranges can be demonstrated by squeezing a section of the peel next to a lighted match. The oil droplets will spray out and briefly ignite as they pass through the flame. The scent of flowers and herbs is due to their essential oil content, as is the spiciness of spices. So, essential oils are in the plants, in the flowers, in the roots, in the resin, in some resins, I guess, and in some fruit rind. And their presence is in small amounts, which partially explains why some essential oils are more expensive than others. Some it takes thousands, hundreds of thousands of flowers to create a tiny bottle of, for example, rose, which I have here. The one I have is Rose Absolute, and it is already diluted in jojoba oil, and that made it a whole lot cheaper than getting regular Rose Absolute, because it takes a lot of roses to get this half-ounce bottle of essential oil. But that's neither here nor there. So, essential oils, how are they made? Another book that I would recommend to you guys is this one, Aromatherapy, A Complete Guide to the Healing Art. And this is by Kathy Cavill and Mindy Green. Oh, I got this one used, so it's the second edition. Let me just pull that back so you can see the full awesomeness of the cover. So yeah, essential oils are distilled in a few ways. Extracted. So when I explained like what essential oils are, they're oils found within the individual plants, and we know, like I said, it takes a lot of that plant matter or fruit rind to make a little bit of essential oil. So how is the oil extracted from the plant? No one's going around squeezing, orange rinds with their fingers to get 3 drops out of essential oils. So there's distillation. It's the process of extracting essential oils utilizing steam, heat, and condensation. Some examples of commonly distilled essential oils is lavender, geranium, rosemary, eucalyptus. They're usually distilled from like fresh materials, so like as soon as they cut those lavender and flower plants, pick off the petal parts, and then they do the whole distillation. The plants are exposed to like very hot steam, and which will release the oil from the plant. Kind of think of it like, when you're outside on a hot, humid day, and not just sweat comes out, but like the oils come out in your skin. You get oily skin like that. That's literally how the distillation process works for some essential oils. And the oil rises out of the plant in the steam, and there's a whole tubing system, and then a larger vessel kind of like separates the water from the oil, and collects the oil in one pot or bowl, and the water in another. And it's something that you could do at home, but it's a lot of work. If you really want to get half an ounce, you need a ton of flowers, and if you have that many, that's it. They're usually like essential oil farms. They're usually plant farms, just for this kind of thing. So that's distillation. There's also turbo distillation. That's used more on roots, seeds, and barks. Steaming is combined with cohobation. It's kind of like a recycling method. After the distillation process, they kind of do it again several times, and that seems to work, because some essential oils are harder to get out with just one steam. There's vacuum distillation, hydrodiffusion, continuous distillation, molecular distillation, fractionation. A completely different method of extracting essential oils, cold expression. This is used on the citrus fruits like orange, lemon, lime, grapefruit. The peels have like little pouches of essential oils. When I say little, I mean like probably microscopic. And so the peels are shredded and then mechanically pressed, and the result is, I'm sure, like, if you've ever squeezed in a lemon or an orange or a lime, you know what happens. But, juice, water, and fruit particles come out, and did you know, so does essential oils. So this process is basically a very bigger version of that, and then the essential oil floats to the top, um, and is separated out from the rest of the stuff, the juice and fruit particles and water. Um, then there's enfleurage. It's the oldest method of extraction. It's used on stuff like tuberose and jasmine. There's solvent extraction. I'm not gonna go too much because yeah, the distillation and then the cold press are the most popular types of extraction for essential oils, but most of you won't be doing this on your own at home. As far as using essential oils safely, essential oils are the basic essence of the plants, and our skin in particular is sensitive. It's a membrane on our bodies, and it protects us from a lot, but it is still very sensitive. I have gotten, I don't know how many burns on these two particular fingers when testing out essential oils, not really remembering to put gloves on. It's not something I have had happen super often. It's not very painful, but that's because of the essential oils I happen to be working with. If I had been working with something like wintergreen and got it accidentally on my fingers, it probably would have been much worse. Basically, our bodies, the sensitive membranes, are not meant to come into direct contact with most essential oils without diluting them. So like I showed you, the Rose Absolute oil, I said it's already diluted in jojoba oil, and that's what the yellow label means for, or Cassia, which is a brand that sells essential oils. When you dilute them, it makes them safer for you to use, but also you can use them more often. So you might, if you have no like experience with essential oils, wonder, how is this little bottle gonna last me? Like, how long is that gonna last me? I'll go through this like nothing. No, you only need a handful of drops most of the time for one-time use. In my body butters, for example, I only use about 20 drops, maybe less, for the 12-ounce jar. So here's an example. This is the 12-ounce jar that I use. It's a pretty big jar of body butter, and body butter kind of melts when you touch it, so you don't need to use a ton. I don't need to fill up my whole palm with body butter to cover my entire body from head to toe, including my hair. So this jar of body butter usually lasts me anywhere from 3 to 4 months. In this 12-ounce jar, I will put no more than 40 drops of essential oil diluted with, jojoba oil. So that's 20 drops out of a little tiny jar. This was lavender, so this is like the half-ounce jar of lavender I have. This will last me a very long time because essential oils do last. They don't really go bad quickly. So you don't have to worry about that. You just keep them in a cool, dry place, and they will last probably about a year. That's roughly the shelf life in general for essential oils, some more or less than others. But yeah, so some essential oils can be toxic to your skin. They're very concentrated, and there are some that are just toxic in general, and so they're not, legal to use, but there are some you just have to be careful with, and just follow the safety guidelines. Every essential oil I've ever bought has safety stuff on them, some potential uses, and some have like dilution formulas on them. So like 10 drops for every cup of carrier oil. And carrier oil is something like jojoba oil, which I already mentioned, and it has they're just, usually a vegetable oil of some kind, but it basically carries the essential oil within it, not taking away from the, many therapeutic and aromatherapy properties of the oil, and it carries the scent of the oil, but it makes it safer to use directly on your skin. So let's see, look for pure oils. There's lots of people that will mix with other oils. There are a lot of fragrance oils that are not essential oils, and that's fine if you want to use fragrance oils in your rituals or your magic or just, your everyday life. That is perfectly fine. No shame to that. Just know they're not the same as essential oils. There's no apple essential oil. That is not a thing. Apples may have essential oils in them, but it's so little and so hard to get out. It's just not worth it as an industry to do so. If you find some way to extract essential oils from apple peel, then you will probably become a very rich person very quickly. But stuff like that, there's no candy cane essential oils. That is not a thing. Candy canes are not a natural thing. That's man-made candy, which probably most likely has an essential oil in it for taste. So you can't extract essential oils from candy canes. So think about that when you're buying oils. Watch for skin sensitivities. I actually use essential oils because I have so many skin sensitivities. I like fragrance oils, alcohol, perfumes, and colognes, that kind of thing, are super drying and, have me break out and hives or make me itchy, and essential oils do not. So that's why I use them. But you might have skin sensitivities to certain oils for whatever reasons. Many of these are herbal oils, so if you're allergic to certain herbs or plants, you will probably be allergic to essential oil. So avoid those. If you're not sure, always, again, dilute the oil first. Test it on a spot, on your body. That's not, too irritating to you. And just to see before you slather it all over yourself, or burn it in an oil warmer and spread the scent within your entire house, then you can't escape. Beware of photosensitivity. The citrus oils in particular, you don't want to put anything that has them on your body and then go straight out into the direct sunlight. They can create phototoxicity and actually leave you with sunburns, just because that's how those work. Don't overuse them. Your sinuses and mucous membranes of your body can become overly sensitive to any scent, really. When scents are too strong and we're just like, oh no, get that away. That's like an overexposure. If you're going to use them for therapeutic purposes, please consult a professional aromatherapist and your doctor. These people know what they're doing. There are things out there that says, there are certain essential oils that can cure cancer, and that's There's no 100% proof of that. There's not even a 90% proof of that. They may help you feel a little bit better, but use your judgment. Let's put it that way. Use your good judgment. Talk to someone who knows what they're talking about, and come up with a plan. Um, there are several essential oils you should not use if you're pregnant or nursing. So check for that. Young children should not be using essential oils. Their bodies, like newborns to toddlers, their bodies are too young and too sensitive to be able to deal with the essential oils. Be cautious with pets. They have completely different bodies. That includes, again, using it in the oil warmer. Essential oils have just as much effect on your body when breathing them in as they do when putting them on in like a bath or lotion or anything like that. And be careful about oral use. I mentioned some essential oils are used to give flavor and scent to foods, and that is something that is very highly regulated, and the inside of your body is even more sensitive than the outside, so you want to be really careful about that. Again, talk to an aromatherapist, a licensed aromatherapist, and your doctor before you start putting essential oil in your food, or just, dropping them in your mouth as some people use. So there's a couple of toxic oils. Look those up. Try to avoid them. And there's some that are very strong, and so certain people with sensitive skin, like if you use too much, I know someone who, if we put too much cinnamon oil in our ritual bath, like she feels a little burn, it irritates her skin, so we have to be very careful about that. Important. And yeah, so the biggest way to avoid issues and be safe with essential oil, there's two ways. Like I said, the shelf life, and how you store them, and also dilution. Some carrier oils you can use to dilute: sweet almond oil, jojoba oil, your castor oil, coconut oil, corn oil, grapeseed oil, olive oil. There's sesame seed oil. There's also like safflower oil. There's also like butters, shea butter, coconut, cocoa butter. Sorry. Excuse me. Mango butter. You can use canola oil. These all have their different. These all have their different purposes. Like some are better than others depending on what you're going to use them for. Obviously, like if you're using body butters, if you're making body butters, you want to use butters. And if you're making a massage oil, you want to use oils. There are certain oils that are better for certain types of skin. Some oils you want to avoid if you have a nut allergy. Obviously, sweet almond oil is out, as is macadamia oil, hazelnut oil, possibly jojoba oil. Some oils are lighter, some are heavier. It's all up to you, but diluting them is the best way to keep yourself safe. So essential oils and magic, they can represent the element of earth, because they come from plant life. So instead of using plants, you can use the essential oils. They can also represent the element of air, because they have scent. You can warm them, burn them, put them in sachets or anything else, and you will smell so many things. And our sense of smell is definitely connected to our memory, to our psychic senses, and that's like entirely what aromatherapy is about, using the scent, the aroma to create change in ourselves and those around us. You can use them in your bath magic, mix them with an carrier oil, and then pour it in your bath. And also, like for a steam bath as well, if you make the water hot enough, the oil will rise with the steam, and you will smell it and feel it around you in your body. Make intentional or conditional oils with them. Intentional oils is more the witchcrafty side of things. Conditional oils more the African folk magic, conjure, hoodoo, voodoo, santeria, African dance board legends. That's what they call these conditions, to bring on conditions to yourself or to dispel conditions from yourself. And the intentional oils are similar. You set an intent of what your magic will be doing to you, or protecting you from, or removing from you, and with the oils, and you pick oils based on that, your intent or the condition. Blessing or anointing, candles, yourself, idols and statuary, other ritual items, that kind of thing. Candle dressing, green witchcraft. Again, it's a great representative of the elements of earth. So I consider myself a green witch, even if I haven't used, actual plant material other than essential oils. Spiritual healing. Again, essential oils have many therapeutic properties, and including emotional and mood effectiveness. So I see that connection with, spiritual healing. You can pick an oil for both physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual purposes, for a particular ritual, or for whatever your intent is. Like, and it will help heal you, both in the physical world and in the spiritual. In Reiki, you can use essential oils, and particularly if you're doing self-Reiki, because you know what works for you. If you're doing Reiki on others or teaching others, you definitely want to check in with them to make sure, all scents you think of you're planning on using are okay for them and their safety. You can put them in sachets, and just a couple of drops. Magical powders are like the easiest thing to create with essential oils, other than the intentional or conditional oils. Just a few drops in a little bit of powder, and in an enclosed container, and the powder will suck up the scent of the oil. As long as you keep it enclosed, the scent will stay, and it's absolutely wonderful. Which I enjoy. In ritual, like I said, it's good as a replacement for burning incense if you don't want, or you can't have smoke in or around you for whatever reasons. So it's a nice replacement for the element of air. And that's all I have to say about essential oils. That was a lot. I know it was. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. If If you would like to check out what the various things I make with essential oils, my shop is in the description down below. And let me know how you use essential oils in your practice. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.